Shalom, family. In this lesson, we'll take a look at who are the daughters of Zion. In Scripture, we often read about the term daughters of Zion, and I plan on reading Ezekiel 23 to explain what the term is merely used as a figure of speech in reference to the house of Israel and Judah. However, I decided to do a quick research to see what came up, and here's what I found, which is exactly in line with Scripture. So I've decided to share it with you. So the first search term I did is, or rather was, what is the name of the daughters of Zion that committed sin against God? I use the term God, but thereafter I'll use the term Al, which represents a singular form of the Most High. So it says the term daughter of Zion in the Bible is a metaphorical representation of Jerusalem or the people of Israel, not a reference to specific individual women who committed sin. It symbolizes the collective nation and its relationship with Al. Daughter of Zion is portrayed as a woman personifying the nation, reflecting its spiritual state, sometimes faithful, sometimes rebellious. The sin attributed to her is national and collective, not individual. The prophets, for example, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, describe her as having turned away from Al, worshipping false gods or idols, and breaking the covenant, acts of spiritual adultery or idolatry. There is no biblical record of specific named daughters of Zion committing sin. The name is poetic and symbolic, used to express Al's judgment on the nation for its disobedience. Thus, the daughters of Zion who sin are not individual named figures, but the people of Israel as a whole, represented through the metaphor of a daughter who has failed her father, Al. And that's great information right there for me. Like I said, lines up with scripture. So the next search term I did was, who is Oholibah mentioned in the Bible? I spelled it wrong here, but it corrected it and gave me the information that I needed. It says Oholibah is a symbolic figure in the Bible representing Jerusalem and the kingdom of Judah in the prophetic book of Ezekiel, chapter 23. She is portrayed as a young sister. She is portrayed as a younger sister of Oholah, who symbolizes Samaria and the northern kingdom of Israel. The name Oholibah means my tent is in her, or my dwelling is in her, signifying that Jerusalem was the city where Al established his sanctuary, the temple. In Ezekiel 23, Al uses the allegory of two unfaithful sisters to illustrate the spiritual adultery of Israel and Judah. Both nations turned to idolatry and formed political alliances with foreign powers like Egypt and Babylon, which Al viewed as acts of unfaithfulness to him. Oholibah, Judah, is described as even more corrupt than her sister Oholah, Israel, continuing to pursue alliances with Babylon despite warnings. The story serves as a warning of divine judgment. As a matter of fact, I do not like to refer to events as in the scripture as stories, so I'm going to say the events. The event serves as a warning of divine judgment. Because of their idolatry and moral compromise, both kingdoms faced conquest and exile. Samaria in 722 BCE and Jerusalem in 586 BCE. So this allegory emphasizes Al's jealousy for his people and the consequences of turning away from him. Here are several places in Scripture where we find verses referring to the daughters of Zion. Isaiah 3:16, moreover, Yah said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore, Yah will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yah will discover their secret parts. And you have other ears, you can read it for yourself. Isaiah 4:4, you can read it for yourself, and Songs of Solomon 3:11, and many other places found throughout Scripture. So the main thing I wanted was to bring out is who are the daughters of Zion. And I think from the information provided, we have achieved our objective. And I just want to say praise Yah and shalom to the family. Have a good one.